Welcome once again, hunters. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more Hunter x Hunter. In the previous chapter, the killer Luini from the Haley family, who can bolster their Nen abilities thanks to their leader's own Nen ability, tried to get in good with the Phantom Troop, and like most people, that ended poorly, putting the Haley family in the crosshair of the Phantom Troop, which works to the benefit of the Cha'ar family and the Jiyu family, who look to keep the balance of the underworld by any means necessary, even if that means manipulating the Phantom Troop into doing so. We've seen how well that goes over, though. But with their resident teleporter deader than dead, the Haley family looks for other means in order to continue their killing and the increase of their so-called levels/Nen ability. Meanwhile, Zakuro and Lynch of the Jiyu family managed to survive their encounter with Hisoka, bringing their information back to the underboss, Heinrich, who has a little talk with Hisoka, basically asking him to stay out of things. Keep a low profile until the Phantom Troop have dealt with the Haley family, with Heinrich saying that once everything is dealt with, Hisoka is free to have his fun, also promising that should the troop come in contact with Hisoka beforehand, they will not interfere should things go down, as everyone knows they will. Meanwhile, Heinrich's military informant, who is helping him track down the base of the Haley, comes in contact with Kenny, or Kenai, of the Cha'ar family, the underboss of the Cha'ar family, who also gets in with the information, since this is essentially a joint operation. The soldier, having done some snooping of his own, leads the two underbosses to a room with an old man. Something I didn't catch last time was that the soldier, Corporal Maison, had entered the room and suddenly vanished, with the old man beckoning the two inside, claiming that Maison had gone to the bathroom. There's some obvious Nen chicanery going on that Heinrich and Kenai quickly suss out, which anyone would. But what's the trick here? As Heinrich tests things out, seeing that things don't simply vanish as they enter, but nothing involving Nen is ever as it appears to be. What'll happen next? Join me as I find out, won't you? Like, seriously, last chapter I did not realize the corporal disappeared. The soldier dude just vanished, and I didn't even register that he wasn't there. Alright, so we pick up with Heinrich threatening the old man, not wishing to step past the threshold of the door. The old man tells Heinrich, I don't mind stepping over that away, but see, I need to use the bathroom. You know what they say, the old bladder gets overactive as you age. Hunter x Hunter, chapter 394. Hypothesis. Heinrich, preparing a knife, says, just wet your pants. I'm not kidding. The old man says, have a heart. They say even a worm will turn. But Heinrich throws a knife at the old man's leg, and with it embedded in his thigh, the old man lets out a scream. The old man falls to the floor, shouting, ow, ow, how could you? I haven't done anything wrong. Ow. Heinrich questions, calmly though, I don't even see any blood. Where's your real body? I'll show what happens when a human being gets stabbed. The old man pauses and then looks at Heinrich and says, I used to be an insurance scammer. The more you yell and roll in pain, the more people imagine it must be a serious injury. It's a tough world out there, huh? So he's used to play acting, essentially. Heinrich prepares another knife and says, who cares? Where's the corporal? And where's your body? But the old man just laughs and fades away, showing that I guess he was composed of Nen? Heinrich and Kenny watch this, and the members of their group say, he disappeared into thin air. He has powers like you, bro. I think I'm going to call him Kenai from now on. I was calling him Kenny because it was easier, but it might be like Kenai. Kenai says, Heinrich, can't we leave Hailey to the Phantom Troop? You found Hisoka. We should deal with the rest in order. First, we'll have the troop wreak havoc in their hideout. But then a short member of the group says, I'll go fetch the blade. Heinrich tells him, hey, don't go in there. And the others say, hey, wait. Only for the guy to just go in and vanish, up in a puff of smoke. The others watch and say, what? Tessa is gone. Heinrich says, I knew it. Must be the same guy who's been kidnapping our men. This trap sends you somewhere when you enter the room. It's a trap, but set by someone else. The troops Nobunaga eliminated that killer. Oh wait, no. Kanai says it's a trap, but set by someone else. The troops Nobunaga eliminated that killer. Oh, so that information never got back to Heinrich? The troop eliminated Luini? Okay, odd. Heinrich turns to Kanai and says, Really? Kanai informs him, 3 of them were staying in our office for a bit. They've left, but the killer's head and torso were left behind. It was their idea to crush Hei Li. Heinrich says, I see. Kanai goes to leave, saying they'll take care of this trap too. But Heinrich thinks to himself, I'll follow up on my own leads in the meantime. Gotta love that, how they're just like, the Phantom Troop said they'd take care of it, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. They ain't getting involved with all this weird Nen crap. Which is honestly kinda smart. It's just like, yep, nope, not touching that one. I don't know how it works. Literally the smartest thing you could do in Hunter x Hunter. You see some weird Nen shit go down, you go the other way. We then see the small dude, Tasai. Ooh, he's locked in that one room we saw before where all the Hei Li members were. He finds himself on the other side of a weird locked door, thinking to himself, I just went in the room. Why am I in front of a door? Only for the Hei Li member Bire? Or Bile, whatever, to come up with what looks like an ice pick or a knife and just shanks him in the throat. And as he throws the body to the ground, Bile says, Alright, I made it to level 21. The others say grats as Terabellum says, I'll take this, I guess, in regards to the body. Matver hands him a glass of water, saying, I was a transmuter. Bile takes the cup? I think it's a cup. Yeah, it's the cup with the leaf in it, saying, Come on, emitter. But as he does the test, he says, conjurer. Dang it. But Gelato says, lucky. A lot of left-handed people are conjurers. We cut to Terabellum, an emitter, who's also a transporter / hitman, who is also level 1, who's carrying the body of Tesai, going over to calling out to someone named Mont, saying this is the last one, saying Vicomte connected this room to processing. He says this to Mont Blanc Toto, who says okay. She turns to, I guess, her sister, because they both have the same last name, seems, Chiffon Toto, and says, Schiff, could you help over here? He says okay. Chiffon says okay while she was hanging up clothes? I guess they do all the dirty work? Terabellum tells the two, we'll all reach level 21 soon. Almost time for you guys to level up. Chiffon says, okay, as it looks like she's stripping the clothes off of Kanai while Mont Blanc Toto is about to cut up Kanai's body. Or Tessai's body. It ain't really gonna matter, dude's dead. It really is hard to tell which names I'm gonna need to remember sometimes. So the two are Chiffon Toto, who's a conjurer, whose abilities include sewing and arts and crafts. She's a level 6. And Mont Blanc Toto is a conjurer, whose abilities includes being a cleaner / feeding manufacturer. So, okay. So I guess they make sure no trace of the bodies are left behind. If Chiffon's abilities include sewing and arts and crafts, then that would probably mean that they fix up all the old clothes. Well, she fixes up all the old clothes. And maybe even makes them into some other clothes that they can't be found. Well, it's potential that Mont Blanc Toto, being a cleaner and feed manufacturing, uses her abilities to clean up all the blood, leaving no evidence, but also make sure that nothing of the victims are left behind. Potentially, maybe, because it looks like they have cooking equipment over to the side. Maybe they're pulling a Sweeney Todd, killing people and making them into food to sell to other people. I wouldn't put it past this series. We then have some voices saying, I haven't been able to reach the VVIP area, Butler. Our liaison with the 4th print, the person says, I see. Serdernik might have realized. Oh, okay. So it's the members of the Hei Li meeting with their leader Mirana. And they are shockingly organized for a bunch of murderers, but, I mean, the way that we know that Mirana has had to live being essentially a bastard child of the Kakin Empire, which is why she has those 2 vertical scars to show that she has no place vying for the crown. She'd have to be careful and also murderous to probably get to the position she was at. Can't really tell who's talking, but they say, I thought we had more time until this place was discovered. Another person says, Gatame's report shows that this is not the case, so I'd like to recruit one of the Serdernek's personal soldiers. Gatame is the old man, I believe, probably reporting back after his little encounter with Kanai and Heinrich. They say, I want someone to capture one while helping Dogman. Dogman? The hell? We have Matver, the transmuter. Abilities include temp staffing and being a mediator. He's level 21. He says, changing clothes is a pain. I think I'd prefer to be the Oregon? What? I don't really understand that. We have Sodom, a manipulator, who's a back alley doctor / hitman. He's level 31. Okay, so these people have killed quite a lot. He says, then I'll go. Miranda says, considering his personality, he'll want to deal with me, the traitor, one-on-one. But during the succession battle, I can't predict when and how he'll move. I want to infect someone on his side with contagion in order to track his movement. Yeah, contagion is Miranda's ability, if I'm correct. I didn't know she could track her followers through that ability, though. Though I guess it would make sense. But her ability is very similar, being able to bestow power on others is very similar to the higher members of the Kakian Empire, so I guess it kind of makes sense to a certain degree. It says, if you find a soldier on the list, bring them here. You can't use room 3101 anymore, so enter from door C? Door C. Sodom says, right. And Sodom and Matver go to leave. Miranda then addresses Orage? I'm gonna go with Aurorge. And Yokotani. That's a simple name. Miranda says, Orage and Yokotani continue to keep watch over the door, though you'll only get military and Yakuza now. If you get any of Serdernek's men, invite them here. They say, got it. Aurora says, the first prince's men would be bad. Is there any lawful basis on which to send them away? This is Aurorge, an enhancer. His profession is waste disposal, but he's also a contractor, level 21. Yokotani says, none. Yokotani is a conjurer, and he's an unscrupulous lawyer. Okay, that's why Aurorge was asking him that. Miranda then turns to two others, Souffle and Noter, saying, Noter and Souffle, go back to room 3131 and see what's going on with room 3101. Okay, so they have more than one entrant. Makes a lot of sense. Crafty motherfuckers. Noter is a conjurer. His profession is plumber. He's level 24. Souffle is a transmuter. She's a hacker. Level 28. Souffle questions, how do we get back to room 3131? Noter says, we just got back to the hideout via 3131 and through disposal, aka the laundry room. Okay. Is that where Mont Blanc and Chiffon were? Noter says, so we do the reverse. Go through the laundry room to the processing room, aka the shower room, and out through the living room door. Jesus, I need a map. I am Souffle in this situation who's just like, run that by me again? Shit is confusing as fuck. I need a map. Although they probably don't have a map because if you get killed and have a map on you, everything's kind of gonna go pear-shaped for your whole killing mission. But Notice tells her, why can't you get it the first time? That's gonna get you killed. Souffle simply says, I'll just go with you. Notice says, what would you do without me? Miranda then addresses Dogman, saying, Dog, you have the most important role. I need you to find what I'm looking for. Dogman says, yep. I need to level up. This is Dogman, an enhancer, a pro wrestler, level 36. So he's like King from Tekken. Miranda says, yes, go to processing and take priority. Get yourself past 50. Process. Do they have people locked up? We then pick up with Heinrich, who goes to that large fountain where he left that cat he turned into a cat. Jeez. He sits down, the cat goes over to him, he transforms the cat back into a camera, and views the tape that the cat had recorded of Corridor 31. Meanwhile, we pick up with soldiers knocking down a door. The soldiers raid the place and look around saying, they're gone. Some other soldiers say, there's a body in here. They say it's a CHARF member. Now we have just cause for breaking down the door. Contact Central PD and ask for a forensic. We were trying to halt a conflict when a Haley member fired at us and ran. That brought us here. Haley didn't submit their member list, so technically they're civilians. Another person says, this room is officially registered as their office, so until the suspect is identified, the police will have to treat it as a mafia crime. The problem is, if a supposed civilian is killed, we can't tell whether the cops will treat it as part of the conflict. If a clueless career bureaucrat declares it a mafia hit on a civilian, all bets are off. Jeez. I guess this is the commander saying, we need to capture the Haley leader, Miranda Bordeaux, before it gets to that. Ideally, we should hand her over without troubling Prince Sedernik over it. We will get GU and Cha'ar to assist in sweeping through Tier 3 to avoid drawing the attention of the Royal Army or the police. Don't bring anything bigger than a revolver. One of the guys asks, Corporal? The corporal says, The soldier says, shouldn't we formulate a playbook beforehand in case there are one or more Nen users within Haley? The corporal questions, Nen, what? Oh, jeez. How are you at your rank and you don't even know? The soldier says, it's a special ability trending in Tier 1. It's a major threat. It's related to why Prince Suraid hasn't immediately responded to this emergency. We should consider how to take control of the situation when normal weapons aren't effective. He kind of has a point. What is that? PV2? Private second class? Private second class Octin or Otokin. Private second class Otokin. Who gave you that report? Otokin says, Associate Borkson, Royal Quarters Security Detail. The corporal says, Private First Class Borkson? I'll make a compelling case that she transferred to Tier 3 as an advisor. And Private Second Class Otokin. Oh, never abbreviate Prince Sedernik's name again. I'll gouge your eyes out, you maggot. Okay, I was wondering, I'm like, Sreed? Did someone mess up the spelling of Sedernik? Seraidnik? Yeah, am I saying it wrong? Is it Seraidnik, now that I look at it? God, these names are spelled so weird. Prince Seraidnik. The corporal says, you'll spend the rest of your life working the front with me. I don't care what Nen is, but you'll take the first hit. Got it, you friggin' maggot. Otokin says, sir, yes, sir. As he walks away, one of the soldiers tells him, you idiot, you don't have to drag Bork into this. But Otokin says, but we'll need intel. It's obvious why Miranda chose this moment to rise in revolt. You think she'd pick a fight with Sarai if she didn't have a plan? The person says, I don't know. I see an idiot without a plan who won't stop pushing the corporal's buttons. But Otokin says, it was calculated. We got Bork, right? But the corporal goes over to Otokin and says, Kin, I'll shoot you personally. Shut your friggin' mouth. Otokin says, yes, friggin' sir. And the corporal says, stop that, you maggot. The other soldiers look on saying, the last we'll see of the Royal Military Academy's famous shouting match, don't even joke about it, is based on objective facts. Ooh, this is so hard to follow. There's so much text. There is so much text on this page. Jesus Christ. And I don't even know who half of these people talking are. One soldier says that body had been dead for a few days. He was clearly killed before the second sweep. That means they couldn't find the body, or strictly speaking, were trying not to find it. Another says, well, the military and the cops use their discretion when it comes to mafia scuffles, as long as civilians don't get involved. But surely they didn't think it was a mafia problem during that sweep. It's likely the search at the Haley office was just a verbal confirmation. The other soldier says, the cops know that. The coroner will read between the lines and fudge the time of death to match the official report. But what about the Hunter Association? If they stick their nose into forensics, things will change. The tampering will come to light. What if they come to lose faith in the Kakian investigation and do their own? Okay. We won't be able to cover things up at that point. The other soldier says the Hunter Association is supposed to provide security for the prince and support at Central. Would a mafia conflict trigger a a criminal investigation? The other soldier says, that security assignment is the problem. Even we personal guards don't know what the mission was, that the mission was a package deal with a super shady ritual until after boarding. Yeah. It's just like, dude, this is some shady shit. The whole succession war is just like, bruh. If the Hunter Association realizes the bloody bond between the royal family and the mafia, they'll naturally consider that optimizing security for the princes means getting rid of the mafia altogether. Right? There's so much corruption, but they feel like the mafia is means to an end in certain cases, especially considering several of the princes are backing members of the mafia. One person says, uh-oh. So we have an informed soldier. The short one is the one who questions, and then there's another person just observing. The short one says, oh, those interests would align with the impending Ministry of Justice. The informed soldier says exactly, and getting rid of the mafia is convenient for the first prince, the military ministry, and the Hunters Association. Once the rumor spreads that the mafia might be purged, it'll be an all-out war between the government and the mafia. Oof. It's clear Haley is trying to upset the balance by the fact that they expunged their long-serving members and didn't register the new members, just boarding them as civilians. Like the corporal said, if the head of police demonstrates a lapse in judgment, well, we might be hearing the 7 trumpets of the apocalypse real soon. God damn. War sounds interesting, but it will break out as a riot. The up until now quiet soldier says if the mafia were to join hands and recruit and collude with the proletariat in tiers 4 and 5, we'd be outnumbered. Oh my god. Every time I think I understand what's going on, there's new information introduced. Otakin is still shouting at the corporal, saying, Corporal Gipper. Really? One for the Gipper? Okay. Corporal Gipper, I have a question. Why don't you reprimand the guys behind me who talk 10 times as much as I do? Come on, man. Gipper says, because they're smart and you're an idiot. The conversation also reflects my opinion, which is to capture Miranda Pardo as soon as possible. Otakin says, I get it, Corporal. But another soldier says, but sir, Otakin has a point. Gipper questions her, oh? Otakin says, Momoli, can I kiss you? Momoli says, die. Dang. Momoli continues, saying Miranda's rebellion and the lack of Prince Serdernic's response. Considering the prince's temper, he would put reprisal against a traitor on the back burner, only if he's found a new toy. Okay. Because he was backing Miranda. She's gone off the rails and is doing her own thing. And usually he would just go full force and just be like, beat that ass. But he's found something interesting to deal with, which is essentially his Nen training, I think? Gipper questions the weapons field stripping and reassembly drill in 7th grade? I wasn't there. Oh, I guess this is an event she's talking about? Him having a new toy? Gipper says, they say he holed himself up in his room without eating or sleeping, practicing until he broke the Academy speed record. Jeez. So showing that he's a very obsessive person. Otakin says, the punk denied practicing and claimed he was playing. Gipper says, what did you call him? The other 3 soldiers chime in, the informed one saying there was an idiot who argued with him during the drill. The prince shot him in the leg after the award ceremony. Off the record, though. The short one says, you can talk back after you break my record, guy. And the more quiet one says, so he shot back with a gun and not his mouth. Otakin says, act big just because you're prince. Show us you've got the skills to back it up. It's a sound argument. Who shoots over that? He's so insecure. Momoli says, you can't apply logic to the prince. You're the only one who can talk back to him without getting shot. Okay, who is Otakin that he can just talk back to Prince Serdernic like that? Like, I do not remember this guy at all, so I've never heard of anyone who was so close with Serdernic that it's just like he just mouthed off about Serdernic left, right, and center. Serydnik. Gipper says, are you saying the prince hasn't personally moved to retaliate against Haley because he's in the middle of learning this Nen? Did we honestly go through all of this just so these people could be caught up on what's going on? Oh, God. Whatever. Momoli says, yes, I've at least given some evidence to bolster that hypothesis, and I think it's Gipper who says we should wait for Borskin to do a fact check and narrow down the possibilities. But the assumption that Miranda Perdot doesn't use Nen is too optimistic and should be discarded. The informed soldier says we should also make transfer requests within a reasonable frequency. The short soldier says, yeah, just in case. The Gipper asks, what? Why is that? I'm literally just going to end up calling him the Gipper, aren't I? The short soldier says, a purge will be planned as a state secret, so the soldiers won't be told when or what. When it's carried out, they'll find an excuse to close the staircase between tiers 2 and 3, with access only given to the Royal Army. The informed soldier says, so from our perspective, as soon as our transfer requests start getting denied or deferred, we'll know the plans have been set in motion. The Gipper says, I hate to say it, but you guys are smart. You're introducing me to these characters who are very well informed in a variety of different ways, and yet I'm uncertain how many of them I should actually care about, because anyone could die at any minute. So it's just like, should I care about these people? The Gipper says to them, you could have been in the prince's entourage or the royal army by now. Why not? And they all say, too much hassle. So they're all intelligent, and intelligent to know that, yeah, we don't want to be anywhere near any of that shit. The Gipper says, a carefree squad with ours sit on the fence. I'll put in the transfer request for myself then. Momoli thinks to herself, on the fence. I suppose if he were my friend, I should be by his side and get on his case. The quiet soldier thinks to himself, it can't be helped. He was born into it. Being a prince and his nature, we can't do a thing. The short soldier says, it's up to him. Shirai himself. Is he okay with the way things are? Were they all in his class? Are they all classmates of his? Is this to just inform us of the nature of Saraidnik? The informed soldier says, we're not just regular friends. Once our status and situation change, that's the way the status quo is. That's why the status quo is the best. Okay, so they're all former friends of his. That's why we're getting all this. Odakin says, why does friendship have to take a back seat the closer we get to him? That's why I'll stay at the bottom and keep yelling at the top of my lungs. Sarai, is this what you really want? So what am I supposed to be feeling about Saraidnik at this point? This is something that Togashi has done before, kind of giving us information on someone through the eyes of other people. It's kind of how we got to know Gyro before, mostly through other people talking about him in narration. But I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be being informed about this, aside from there are people who actually care about Saraidnik. I mean, at the very bare minimum, I go from just feeling like Saraidnik just needs to be taken down to maybe something needs to change about Saraidnik? I don't know. We've seen some pretty effed up things when it comes to Saraidnik. We then cut to the soldiers having a conversation in some back room, with them saying, I can't tell who's talking honestly, Prince Saraidnik is being taught Nen by Thea, his personal guard. Oh, okay, I think they're talking to Borkson. I think that's Borkson talking. Borkson saying Prince Saraidnik is being taught Nen by Thea, his personal guard. One of the soldiers says, I knew it. Borkson tells them, this is top secret. If you tell anyone, you'll be demoted. Odakin asks, what is Nen anyway? Borkson says, I don't know, it's classified. I was just about to probe into it. What a shame. Oh, okay. Because they mouthed off to the corporal, now it's gonna be a wide-known thing that Borkson can't shut the fuck up. Well, I guess it would be Otakin, who questions, Bork, are you pretty mad? Bork, with a smile, says, yes, obviously. Talk about a backstab. I told you so you'd be warned. I can't believe you snitched to Gipper. Odakin says, I didn't snitch. We need intel. And we got to propose the transfer request early warning system. Bork says, you think Gipper would switch out now that he's up there? I bet he's proposing to strict communication with the lower tiers because of information leakage, using me as pretext. The informed soldier says, you're right, but I still think there's a 5% chance that Gipper would listen to his conscience. Look at the big picture and maintain contact with us. Borkson says, well, it's still the same now that I'm no longer up there. Gipper will never be able to get anything out of Theta. Yeah, Theta. What was going on with Theta? The quiet soldier says, we know you're friends with Theta, but would she tell you top secret stuff? Friends with Theta? I didn't even know Theta had friends. Borkson says, she might not tell me about Nen, but there was something that caught my eye. When the prince found out about Nen, Theta acted weird after that, along with Salikov, who was standing next to her. Sometimes it's all in how you ask, and you don't even need an answer. I could have done it, but we'll have to do what we can down here. They all look at each other, and Otokin then says, don't worry, we're thinking the same thing. Borkson then says, Miranda Perdot most likely uses Nen. Therefore, to protect our own lives, we will avoid her at all costs. Okay, what am I supposed to be gauging from this? Look, okay, all I have to say is that either they're going to live because they're so smart, or they're going to be incidental deaths, showing that how just anyone can be caught up in the shit. The short one and the quiet one high five, as the short one says, hooray, she's still the Bork we know. Borkson then says, you know, I haven't given up on my career ambitions. We avoid her while pretending to look for her. Do you have any idea how hard that will be? Is this an excuse for why Miranda doesn't get caught by the army? The quiet one then says, should be simple. We know what she looks like, but they don't know us. But Borkson says, no, they probably do. The tattoo artist who gave us our unit tattoos was once a Haley member. The prince recruited him so he avoided the massacre when Miranda rose to position, but we were in his client database. We should assume Miranda has intel on the personal soldiers. The informed one says, is Nen that dangerous? Borkson tells him, I don't know the details, but observing Theta and Solkov, I know it's the kind of weapon that shouldn't be made public. Otokin tells him, I just said it was worse than a gun. But the informed one says, you're not persuasive enough. Momoli tells him, Borkson's words carry more weight. Kind of like comparing cotton to osmium. Damn. Otokin's the idiot of the group, even though he does seem pretty smart. The short one then says, if the prince is trying to learn Nen now, does that mean we could use it too? Guys, don't get involved with that. Borkson says, I could have investigated up there, but now practicing ourselves is the priority. We're at a disadvantage being in the dark about Haley members. We should make contact with GU or Cha'ar at once and organize a cooperative system. Roger. Momoli says, Bork, what if one of us gets caught by Miranda? Will you tailor your response? They all pause. Borkson says nothing for a moment, but then says, right, we should plan for that too. Oh man, there's so much information. And the thing is, okay, they want to avoid a lot of the situation, but they also want to be informed so they can properly avoid it. But as far as I can tell, they also care about Saradnik. To some degree, I'm really at a loss for what I'm supposed to take away from all of this. Not to mention how these characters will be implemented going forward. Will they be implemented going forward? That's the thing. Sometimes characters we're introduced to now don't hold relevance until 20, 25, 50, sometimes 100 chapters later. I don't know if I'm going to remember all of this going down the line in the future. This is why the anime was sometimes a little bit easier to follow, even with a big cast. The thing is, in the manga, certain characters really do get lost in the shuffle. Because I'll be honest, after the hiatus, I completely forgot about the fact that there were multiple mafia families. I thought there was just one, but I had to re-go through everything to just be like, okay, this side is here, this side is there, this person is doing this person is associated with this, and now we have this group of Kakian soldiers who I guess is just to give a face to more of the Kakian soldiers, because up until now, the Kakian soldiers have been mooks. They've been nothing but mooks. But now Tagashi has essentially fleshed out a group of the Kakian soldiers. But these are people who are interested in learning Nen. But the question is what they learn actually going to be cohesive to anything going forward? Are they just going to team up with the GU and the Cha'ar? They say that's what they want to do. But are they just going to end up killed by the members of the Haley? Because the Haley is just out there killing people. They have a whole entire system going on. And the Cha'ar and the GU are no closer to finding the access point to their hideout. I mean, the only positive going on here is the fact that the Phantom Troop is on the hunt for the Hae-Lee. But how many people are going to die before the troop manages to track down the Hae-Lee? Because ultimately, the troop isn't even interested in saving lives or anything like that. They just want to take out the Hae-Lee because the Hae-Lee fucked with them. And it's not even the entirety of the troop. It's more specifically Finks, Phaeton, and Nobunaga at the moment. And there's no telling if, by the time they actually manage to start doing some damage to the Hae-Lee, there's not an encounter with Hisoka, and then all bets are off. On top of that, we know how much collateral damage can be done in a battle between Nen users, especially aboard a crowded ship. Like, a fight breaks out in one of the malls or one of the floors or something that's really crowded. Multiple people just end up dying left, right, and center. What then? Like, this is a manga where I'm never certain which characters I should actually really pay attention to, because next thing you know, done. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't sure how prevalent Luini was going to be right up until he, like a dumbass, exposed himself to the truth, and I'm like, you idiot! You're in Nobunaga's range! You're gonna die! And what happens? He was in Nobunaga's range and just got run through the head. And it's just like, what a dumbass! Luini, you fucking dumbass! Because when it comes to the Hae-Lee taking on the troop, it's pretty cut and dry. To be honest, the only one who seems like they'd have any chance of taking on the troop seems to be this Dogman dude. And I'm losing kind of a lot of hope because the Cha-R and the GU have essentially backed off of the search because, don't want to get involved with that shit. We're gonna lose too many of our people, which I can't blame them for. Just go with the original plan. Send the Phantom Troop after them. We know the Phantom Troop wants them dead. Why interfere with that? Hell, they didn't even really need to manipulate the Phantom Troop into doing that, because Luini, again, was a dumbass! I'm such a loss at all of this. Honestly, if you're here at this point, paying attention to anything I have to say, thank you. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Let me know if I haven't considered anything. Let me know if maybe there's something bigger to this whole situation that I'm just not grasping. Because honestly, with this series, it's entirely possible. Usually, I connect the dots upon, rereading or watching it in anime, and this is an example of something I really need to be in the anime, specifically in English. I'm sorry, I know, maybe you're a sub-purist or anything like that. I need something to just make this go down easier to some degree. Because, man, I thought the Chimera Ant arc was dense with characters, but this, Jesus! And it wouldn't be so bad if it didn't feel like so many of these characters were incidental, but Togashi has such a tendency of introducing characters that I'm just like, okay, I'm starting to get to know these characters, I'm starting to get to understand them. Dad, motherfucker! Why? Dude! Once, twice, or 3 times is fine, but you introduce so many characters who we either never get to see much of, are only relevant one other time, or they die. And yet, I still love Hunter x Hunter. Go figure. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, I'm the ever-confused Duuz-Diz-Din, trying to maintain my sanity when it comes to this book that I love so much. And I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye.